Be the New You, Part 5, Reinvention. Hello and welcome back to Part 5 of this 6-part e-course, The New You, Strategies and Recipes for a Complete Makeover. Hi, I'm Selina Stone, a Master Life Coach and Casting Director, here to guide you through this series. Now you can download a written version of this course at selinastone.com under the heading e-courses. Reinvention. Well, it's nice to have a list of goals to accomplish and a resonating confidence in yourself. But this could be another one of your fleeting phases. The question is, how do you sustain this feeling and stay motivated? You sure are motivated to accomplish your goals, but are you equipped with enough of it to make the choices, sacrifices and compromises that lie ahead? Are you driven enough by your reasons to change that you can fight all the temptations and distractions? What about fighting those mixed feelings and moments of confusion? What if you really feel like going outside in the sunshine and getting a time when you are actually supposed to be indoors, slogging for your goal? Ask yourself, am I really ready to take the plunge? We'd suggest you go over the goals and the compelling reasons you laid down one more time as you read them. Do they fill you with a tingle of excitement? If they do, then great. If not, either the goals are not good enough or your reasons for them are not compelling enough. Maybe you do not really want to achieve them, so do the exercise again. This process is continual. You constantly need to meddle with your goals till you know that those are not just things that you want, but they're things you really ache for. A drive to accomplish the goals is no good. Neither is a set of 10 ineffectual ones. You'd rather have 3 must-have goals to work on. A list of must-have goals will give you the required focus to accomplish them in time. The real reason why people falter is because they have a lot of nice to have things listed, which does not provide the motivation needed to keep going. It would be nice to lose some weight. It would be nice to have a new job. These nice to haves are not going to get you up early and keep you up late to achieve them. Get motivated and stay motivated. It is one thing to get motivated, but sustaining it is a different ballgame altogether. Here is a formula that will help you keep going to achieve your goals. However, it's no magic formula. Being honest is a precursor to it, and remember, it is relative, works differently for different people. The only thing that will make sure that you stay motivated and not deter is your conviction for the goal. It will help you to understand the force at play when you are faced with making a decision as to whether doing something is a must or a nice to have. Introducing to you the change formula. There is a simple equation that you can apply to anything and everything when you are faced with a decision as to whether you want to do something or not. When faced with such a situation, use this formula and you will instantly notice the clarity of thought you will achieve. D times V times P equals C. D. Dissatisfaction with the status quo. To start with, you should be really unhappy with the present situation, otherwise you wouldn't feel like changing it. V. Vision. A vision is basically your perception of how and where you want to be. Besides clarity in your reasons for change is necessary. P. Practical steps. Lastly, you must know what will be involved in order for you to change. You need to know clearly what things you will be taking up. There should be an action plan. C. Cost of changing. What will you have to sacrifice in order to change? What will be the cost? Will you have to change your beliefs? The D times V times P will create your desire to change, but you will only change if your desire is greater than the associated cost of changing. C. Consider this story to get a clear picture. The lecturer who first introduced us to this equation was a lovely and attractive plump lady. As per standards set by the young generation today, she can be called fat. As her name has to be kept confidential, let's call her Nancy. Nancy narrated an incident in her life which forms the basis of this formula. Once she'd gone to visit the village where she'd spent her childhood, she visited the local newsagent where she used to buy sweets when she was younger. The store owner was the same person from whom she used to buy sweets 20 years ago. Nancy was enthralled and asked him if he remembered her. She helped him recall, and he did, but the words that came out of his mouth left her baffled. He said, "What on earth has happened to you? Haven't you let yourself go?" You could very well imagine what a blow in the face Nancy would have felt as she left the shop. Now, for most of us, a harsh comment like that would sting and instigate us to take some serious action. It did for the lecturer too. She had the reasons and the required vision of what she would look like if she lost some weight. She knew the practical steps and the sacrifices she would need to make, like sessions at the gym and the diet plans to make the necessary changes. But still, she decided not to change because she did not have enough motivation to change. She weighed her options, scrutinised her priorities, and realised that her cost of changing was much higher than her desire to change. Nancy enjoyed her life as it was. Her diet consisted of traditional healthy and nutritious food, and she loved desserts. Though she did not overindulge, she could not imagine not having them at all. She loved partying. The last thing she wanted to do was to go to the gym every morning or evening, eat lettuce leaves or cabbages for dinner and breakfast, and then make herself starve after a hard day's work, when all she really needed was to wind down at home with a bottle of Chardonnay. We admire her immensely for being true to herself and sorting out her priorities in life. There is a lot of pressure on people to be thin these days. If she were to go ahead and diet and exercise, she would have become thin. But do you think she would have been happy? We doubt. She wasn't necessarily unhappy with her life. She chose her happiness over superficial gratification from the society, which would have left her empty and miserable. She went where her heart was and came out a happier person. This is exactly the approach we want you to follow as you work out this formula for your goals. Anthony Robbins once said, "Achievement without fulfillment is failure." Nancy figured out that the cost of changing for her far outweighed what she was going to get in return. It's the lack of such a clear distinction of what one would really need to endure in order to get through to achieving the goals that make people drop them halfway. More often than not, people don't carefully consider what they will have to go without in order to succeed. They start with all the enthusiasm in the world, make all the required plans and enroll in all sorts of programs, make some initial progress too, but the problem is the substance. The enthusiasm does not last long, and halfway through you start cheating on yourself. This is followed by excuses, regrets, and you end up feeling more distressed. Everyone can make initial short-term sacrifices, but it is extending them and making them a part of one's lifestyle that takes the toll. We suggest you identify these potential problems before you apply the change formula. Clearly list out the pros and cons and check whether the pros attract you much more than the cons. Then you would be able to go ahead and achieve your goal without stumbling and stopping halfway, and then feeling all the much worse. People often use comments like, "I have no willpower," which just states that they're enjoying doing something else than the action plans that are laid down on paper before them. And there is nothing wrong with that. Make sure your reasons to change are not based on your endeavour for public gratification. Look deep inside your mind and find the reasons, the ones that will make you walk the talk. Apply the formula when faced with a dilemma about your goals. Work it out for yourself and make sure you see through it with confidence and conviction. Now, go back over the things that you've written down where you lack motivation and put them into this formula. See what dynamics are at play. Ask yourself, should I change? Remember, D times V times P equals C. Well, that's all we have time for today. Remember to tune in to part 6, the last in this series, as soon as you've filled in the questions that have been asked of you today. And remember, if at any time you wish to download this course, then please go to www.selinastone.com under the heading e-courses. And as always, until next time, be lucky.